going on the road without a pen?
Without a pen? Got a pen, Ash?
Best idea.
No.
I'll manage without.
No problem.
Are you recording as well?
I'm recording. I always do with journalists.
Okay. Is this going to be
This is
uploaded
for
live?
me on YouTube. It's just for me. Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Is
not.
it going live?
Yeah.
Oh. Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Why? Because I'm sitting down with you. Yesterday, or this week in your newspaper, you called me a Muslim hater.
That's not true. That's not true. I did not call you a Muslim hater.
Your newspaper did.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, the article in your newspaper called me a Muslim hater. So I go live so that then I can ask people, or I can sit and ask you as a journalist. If we can just put that back there a little
I'm
bit.
sorry,
Yeah.
but you did not ask me if I wanted to be recorded.
You don't want to be recorded. I'll record myself.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay, fine. So I sat down just to say, just so that, because whenever I sit down with journalists, hopefully you're different. Whenever I sit down with journalists in the UK, I sit and talk to them, and they just lie. They just lie. And the trust that the public have, I don't know about here, the trust that the public have, for example, when I read your newspaper that called me a Muslim hater, which is what I was hoping to ask you, what do you, when I'm called a Muslim hater, what do you take that from? I hate all Muslims.
Well, in fact, I didn't write it.
Okay.
And I saw that somebody from that invited you today, Sanfar Roy, was quite angry about those words that our newspaper wrote. So my question to you would be: are you a Muslim hater?
Don't you think that the question should have been asked to me before you printed in a national newspaper in your country? Before you told the whole of your country I'm a Muslim hater, don't you think that question should have been asked to me? So then you didn't have to just put lies in the national press and make accusations of me in the national press without actually asking me any questions.
I'd like to answer that question, but then I'd like to do the
That's fine.
the interview. Of course.
Yeah, if you can answer that question. Why would your newspaper run an article on me without even contacting me, without trying to ask me my views on anything? Why would they just tell the whole of Belgium that I'm a Muslim hater?
Well, of course, it's not the case that people need to call you for everything they want to write about you, because that, first of all, that would be unreasonable to take that much of your time if every newspaper that wanted to write about you needed to call you for that. I also think that you've made statements in the past that make clear that you're at least not a fan of Islam.
Islam or Muslims? This is my problem. This is my problem.
I think both.
Can you give me, if you've got your paperwork there, if you can just tell me one statement I've made against Muslims that makes me a Muslim hater?
Well, let me see here. You've said Nazism and Islam are opposite sides of the same coin. That's not a very Islam-friendly statement, if I can put it that way.
But what we could do is separate an ideology from the people that follow the ideology. So I asked, what is it that makes me a Muslim hater? Not an Islam, not someone who's critical of Islam, not someone who draws violent comparisons of Islam. I asked, what makes me a Muslim hater? Muslims are people. Islam is an idea. So if I make a criticism of an idea, I'm not hating the people that follow that idea. And as in England, everyone has such a hard difficulty understanding this.
Okay. And then I'd like to get on with the
That's
interview,
fine,
of course,
that's fine.
Because I'm the one asking the questions here normally. But I understand that you have those issues.
Yep.
You've said, or you've called on people to, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but to make war on Muslims.
This is, for me, this is the most frustrating thing. If I had called on people to make war on Muslims, you're taking a quote from Facebook that no media have got. Is there any evidence of me saying that?
Well, the post has been deleted by Facebook.
But if I put a post on Facebook, don't you think one single journalist somewhere would have took the copy of that post? Don't you think? I'm Tommy Robinson.
Not sure.
If I say one wrong word today, it'd be all over the national news. Yeah.
So you did not make that statement.
Categorically, I did not say let's make war on Muslims. The other post, which I'm accused of, behead those who follow the Quran. Do you really think? Do you think I said behead those who? Do you think? Okay, let's ask another question. Do you think that I would put on my Facebook behead those who follow the Quran, and not one single journalist in the world would screenshot it? And do you also think that the British police would not arrest me for making that comment?
first of all, I'm not sure if it was Facebook or Instagram. I'm not exactly sure on that.
It was on neither of them. I've never made that post.
Okay.
I've never made that post. So what that is, unfortunately,
Then why-
is complete
then why-
fake news
Okay. Then
spread around the world.
by who?
If you want to know, understand why. So understand why. So I make a documentary. The documentary I make is called Panodrama. It shows and it proves complete cooperation between the BBC, which is it's not the government's, it's supposed to be ours, the public's broadcaster, working with far left organisations, extremist organisations called Hope Not Hate, cooperating and coordinating together to blackmail, intimidate people into giving negative reviews of me. This is all evidenced in a documentary I made. It also shows the main face of the documentary sitting there saying he will create news and he will change the meaning of things I've said and done. He will clip and edit footage. I broadcast that to the world. The next day, Facebook completely removed me without anything. I said nothing. Anyone who follows me, the problem is there's 1.2 million people that follow me on Facebook. So there's 1.2 million people who are fully aware that I didn't say behead those who follow the Quran. There's 1.2 million people who are fully aware that the questions you ask me are just complete lies. And so people are then aware that Nick Clegg is the old...
For the record,
Yeah.
I did not ask you any lies.
No, not lies on your part. Not lies on your
Sure.
part. No, not lies. I'm not saying. So lies that have been put out about me by Facebook. In response, this is clearly in response to a documentary I made which absolutely destroyed the BBC and their programme Panodrama. It proved them creating news. Now, Nick Clegg is in charge of global communications for Facebook. Nick Clegg is the previous deputy prime minister of my country. Nick Clegg used to liaise and be close friends with a man called Mohammed Shafiq. Do you know who Mohammed Shafiq is?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, so Mohammed Shafiq is a BBC, works with the BBC. Now, he put out, when I got removed from Facebook, he put out a statement saying, I had a meeting with Facebook last week and to tell them about removing Tommy Robinson. So, Mohammed Shafiq is an organisation, his brother is, you know Sharia for Belgium, the organisation?
Absolutely.
Well, Mohammed Shafiq's brother was the counterpart of that organisation in the UK, a radical extremist group. That's Mohammed Shafiq's brother. Mohammed Shafiq's cousins have been involved in, and family members have been involved in the mass rape of young girls in our country. This is a gentleman that then has been given a position to sit with social network companies and with prime ministers or previous deputy prime minister in my country to have my platform removed. And the reason I'll tell you the reason they want me removed is because I'm reaching the public, I'm embarrassing them, I'm giving people the opportunity to see what's happening on the streets, not just, for example, what they want to have is the monopoly, which you have in this country. Well, you have had. You told the whole country I'm a Muslim hater. What way have I got of responding to that other than sitting with you now because you've sat down with me? Other than that, what way have I got responding to the Belgian audience to tell them I'm not a Muslim hater with your article? Because I can't go on Twitter and respond because I've been deleted for stating a fact. I can't go on Facebook and respond. I can't go on Instagram and respond. I have no platform now to counter the lies, because that's a lie.
I'm not sure that that's entirely true because you're live streaming your reply right now.
I only have YouTube, yeah. But just so
And that is a social media network.
That's a social media network where last week Tom Watson, who is the deputy leader of the Labour Party, the opposition party in the UK, stood in Parliament and demanded that I am removed from YouTube. He also wrote a statement to the CEO of YouTube demanding that my videos are removed without giving any evidence to my hate speech in my videos. In fact, YouTube responded saying that none of my videos have violated their terms of guidance. Now, Free Labour MPs, there's a video online, you can watch it, I'll send you it if you give me your email address. Free Labour MPs sit down with the CEO of YouTube. And they too, Muslim MPs, Naz Shah, this is an MP that has and I'll quote her, says that the English child victims of mass gang rape should be quiet for the sake of diversity. That's what she has retweeted, yeah? So these people sit down and it is complete fascism. It is members of government sitting down with private businesses and demanding, and not just demanding, but pressurising them, that they remove dissident voices. And it's been successful with Facebook, it's been successful with Twitter, it's been successful with PayPal, it's been successful with Instagram, and I'm talking on YouTube now, but that time is going to come to an end where I'll be removed from YouTube. And when I'm removed from YouTube, this is what the worrying thing is for people across Europe, in all these countries, that I'm being unpersoned. I'm being removed from every sphere. What next? They want to remove my bank then, do they? My mobile phone contract? That's where we're going. And to anyone, as a journalist, I'm just guessing that you'll be on the left, yeah? To anyone who genuinely cares about freedom, where's my freedom? I haven't been arrested under any crime or law. We have strong laws in the UK about inciting
But you
hatred
said you weren't arrested under any crime or law.
to do with hate speech.
Okay.
The one thing that people want me removed for is this new word that's used to beat people up, which is hate speech. Well, we have laws in the UK against inciting hatred. We have laws against inciting racial hatred or religious hatred. We have all of these laws. I've never ever been arrested, let alone convicted.
Isn't it very difficult to convict somebody for hate speech? Because it's very difficult to draw the line with free speech, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not. No, hate speech, inciting racial hatred under law, is inciting violence or inciting hate against a group of people. Now, as I've said, I don't talk about Muslims. I talk about Islam. So the problem we have now is that people in this country wish to enforce blasphemy laws, which is absolutely insane. People across Europe want blasphemy laws. They don't want people to be able to be critical of Islam. Now, if I pick up a book and I read this book, and this book says so many derogatory things about me and my family, and it's literally incites murder against them, should I be in a position and should I be free to criticise this book? I should. That's a fundamental right. I have to be. But what we want to create now, and what people want to wish to use, they wish to silence. What they don't realise is by the tactics that are being used by the government, 1.2 million people followed me on Facebook. You haven't just cut me off, you've cut them off. When you don't give people...
Well, no. You've cut them off from what? From Facebook?
No. Anyone in the UK who writes Tommy Robinson or puts a link to Tommy Robinson video is removed from Facebook. So they haven't just... This isn't just about Tommy Robinson broke our guidelines, let's get rid of him. This is about we are going to remove any discussion of Tommy Robinson.
You're saying that anybody in the UK who posts...
On Facebook. I'll show you a video.
Sorry, in the UK, on Facebook, who posts something referencing you or your name...
It's removed. Community guidelines. It goes against community guidelines because Facebook have put me...
To mention your name.
To mention my name. Which, do you think that's insane?
I don't think that's true, actually.
I'll show you the videos, but I'll show you the evidence in a minute. I'll show you, as soon as we finish this, I'll show you all the evidence, yeah? And there'll be thousands of people now watching this who know it's true because they're trying to do it. Now, so what level of censorship are we entering? You're not even allowed to talk about me. Amazon have removed my book, Muhammad's Quran. It was a best-selling book. It's been for sale for 2 years. In fact, it was one of the best-selling Qurans in the world for over a period of time. It's been removed. Why? Doesn't break any laws, doesn't commit any crimes. I haven't broken any laws, I haven't committed any crimes. So you don't like
But it's a private company.
Yeah, no, it's a private company who have been pressurised, which we have evidence of the pressure in. They are pressurised by NGOs, usually funded by people who want mass immigration, open borders, the destruction of national identity. All of these mass funded billionaires that are funding this mass movement. The mass movement that is there to attack anyone, like myself. You've got representatives in your country who are under constant attack for simply voicing legitimate and legal opinions.
But there's also indications that you yourself have been funded by foreign investors, foreign...
Okay. Indications or evidence?
Well, indications. That's
Indications.
what I said.
Again.
Are they true?
No, they're not true.
Okay.
No. So there's no evidence. My legal fees were paid to remove me from prison, and they were paid on the basis that there's an organisation in America who believe in free speech, genuinely believe in free speech, unlike the rest of what's happened to Europe, who want to get rid of free speech. Who actually, I'd say we live in a post-free speech era. There is no free speech, it's just a facade.
But the fact that you can say those things here to me and on the stage in a couple of minutes here, doesn't that prove that free speech is not completely eradicated?
No, it doesn't, because what we have is when someone gives their free speech.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah, go on.
So that's what you're saying, right? That free speech doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I am saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that when you use your free speech, you then come under constant attack by police, by government, by far-left organisations who are funded by the government, by Islamic organisations. You are imprisoned, you are attacked, all of these things. And when speech has consequences, it's not free. It's no longer free. When your free speech has consequences, even in social consequences, whether you feel you can talk at work, yeah, whether you feel you can tell your employees what you think, you can't. You can't anymore.
But is that something that only happens with people on the right, on the far right, where
Yes.
people position you?
Yes, completely. Yeah,
Because people on the far left, if they say things that
they're allowed to say, because that's what I mean. They don't lose.
get consequences too, don't they?
Show me one person on the far left who's lost their job for being part of an anti-fascist organisation. Just provide me evidence of one.
Well, there's enough people on the left side, on the far left side, who have daily consequences. People taunting them on social media. People going to their house, putting things in their mailbox, like I don't know what it's called, I don't know the English word. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, my point being, people on the left.
So they have consequences by people on the right targeting them. That's very different to losing their careers and jobs. So what I'm saying is people on the left are free to tell their employees what they think. People on our side of the fence, for example, you have these NGO organisations, you have them here, we have them in England, who contact your work. They contact your HR department. They demand and they put pressure. And we've seen it, and I've given evidence of it in England, where simply giving you opposition to Islamisation or criticism of an ideology or a book can result in you losing your career and job. And that is intentionally done. And then people like me are used as an example. And then they're beaten and they're attacked and their lives are destroyed because they're supposed to be the example to the rest of the people to say, sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up, because whether you like it or not, we're going to replace this population. We're going to bring in mass numbers of Islamic immigration, and you're going to be good about it, and you're going to be quiet about it.
That's the white genocide theory.
I don't have a white genocide theory, no. I talk about the Islamisation, not about white. I didn't mention white.
Okay. But is it the same idea?
What idea? My idea is...
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the white genocide theory is that whites will be overpowered by people coming in from other countries who have high birth rates, and eventually will overpower them just by
Funny because I'll just bring you back to my experience. I live in Luton. The demographic growth forecast for Luton is that by 2030, this was figures in 2013, is that the white and the black population will increase by 1.3 to 1.4%. Yeah, the white and the black, not white, the white and the black.
Okay.
The Islamic population will increase by 70 to 77%.
Over what time?
Over from 2013 to 2030. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not long to see an increase like that. Yeah? So I specifically have never in my life mentioned white genocide points like this, or that it's a white issue. I talk about a religion and an ideology, yeah? Because the Sikh community in the UK...
It's the same mechanism.
No, the Sikh community in the UK are not increasing at any given rate. The Hindu community are not. There is no threat. There's no threat to the UK population that the entire country is going to become Sikh. The reality to people, which is concerning, is that the Islamic demographic is changing. And would I care if 20% of the population becomes Sikh in the UK? No, I wouldn't. Do I care that the 20% of the population will become followers of Islam? Yeah, because there's good reason to. Because we currently have 5% of the UK follow Islam. 5%. Out of that 5%, we have 22,000 of them on a terror watch list. 3,000 of those people are followed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah? That costs us £9 billion a year. 2,000 out of that population have gone to fight for ISIS. 33% of child deficits, of child disabilities are from that population. All of these problems that come, whether it be female genital mutilation, they're all genuine concerns and problems. 90% of grooming gang convictions in my country, sexual rape in gangs, is from the Muslim population. 90%. Yet they only make up 4%, 5% of the population. So these are all genuine fears and concerns that you would sit there, and if I took the Sikh community, if I said, right, that's the Islamic community, let's look at the Sikh community, I don't know what I'm going to say to you, because there's no problems coming from it. Now, so obviously, this isn't about white or black or brown. This is about a problem coming from an ideology and its followers and the problems are linked to the ideology and the book that we need to criticise and bring forward, not to do with them being brown. Because as I said, the Sikh community, I can't pick any faults. In fact, what I will tell you about the Sikh community is they're the highest proportion of property owners. They're the highest proportion of business owners.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because this interview is not about the Sikh community, obviously.
No, but you mentioned white genocide, so I thought I'd clearly point out to you the difference of what I'm talking about has nothing to do with the colour of someone's skin. Okay. Because I actually would welcome more Sikhs.
So you don't agree with my newspaper writing that you're a Muslim hater, then would it be more accurate to say that you're a hater of Islam?
I'm a hater of Islam. If you're going to describe me as a hater of Islam, will you describe Islam as a hater of me? Would you describe Islam as a hater of me? Because after all,
Islam is not a person.
No, but there's a manifesto in Islam. There's a manifesto which tells them that as a non-Muslim,
Islam is not one big
The
brick.
Quran, okay, the Quran. Will you describe Muhammad as a hater of non-Muslims? You wouldn't dare.
I'm not a specialist.
You wouldn't dare, bro. You wouldn't dare, because you'd lose your job and someone would probably come and try to slot you.
Well, that's your opinion, but I'm not a
Go on,
specialist. I'm not a specialist on Quran. I'm not a specialist on Muhammad.
Okay,
so
so let me ask you a question. If you're going to be true and honest, Muhammad beheaded 600 people. Yeah? Muhammad enslaved women. Muhammad had sex with a child who married her at 6 and had sex with her at 9. Would you, just as a basic standard man, can you describe what would you have to say about Muhammad? Would you call him a great man, a nice man, a moral man?
Again, I'm not a specialist on Muhammad.
What about a man who has sex with a 9-year-old? What do you have to say about him?
I can only say this because obviously what you're talking about, I don't know those facts, and also I've been given indications that the interview is coming too close.
I think the interview's
but
coming too close.
I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't find those elements that you told me, whether they're facts or not. I wouldn't find those very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree that Muhammad's not very good.
Well, if Muhammad did that, I would say that it wasn't that he did wrong. Yeah.
So would you agree then that if Muhammad did that, would you agree that to have Muhammad put up as on a pedestal as a man, if you understand, Muslims believe Muhammad was perfect. Yeah. So are we right? Am I right to say no? He's not perfect. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And we cannot have people emulating this man in Europe and believing it's acceptable to emulate the teachings and beliefs of Muhammad. Because that's all I'm doing, bro. And
so in that way, you hate the religion, but not the practitioners of the religion.
I hate anything that incites murder, rape.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's what the Quran does.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you very much.
Cool, man. Thank you very much. Cheers. We're going into a conference in here. The conference is on free speech. We're invited by Philip de Winter and his political party.
Dat was heel goed. Dan moeten we meer zulke interviews.
I don't know if that interview went the way he thought it was going to go, but it was interesting. Belgium. I'll maybe go live. I want to have a real rant about Cambridge. I'm just going to do it after this conference. There's a conference with our video as we go in. You can stay live if you want. Do you want to watch it? Sorry. Let me just...